Side of coaching, we're seeing you, do expand your horizons, doing these breakdowns for the UFC that are being very successful, and a lot of people seem to enjoy them. Just tell me, I guess, how that came together in terms of like the partnership with the UFC and doing these fight breakdowns.
Yeah, it was super organic. It was something I ever really thought I was going to do. I never really had a plan to do any type of analysis or commentating, but I had done a piece with the UFC that was about the gym. It was just kind of one of those short summaries. I don't know what show it was on. And I talked to the producers and spent some time with them, and we just kind of clicked. And then I got an email like 6 months later, and they just said, hey, we think that you could do this. Could you come and try out and kind of do a pilot? And I was like, all right, why not? And that's just kind of how it started. And I kind of really just fell in love with the process of it because I study film and do all these things anyway. This is what our job is, right? I mean, we break down fighters. We break down the matchups. We see the strengths. We see the weaknesses. What's our game plan going to be? But this gave me an opportunity to look at all these other fighters that I didn't coach. And in that process, I continue to learn and expand my own horizons. When you're studying just champions all the time, studying Izzy, Islam, Volk, all these unbelievable athletes, it just gives you a different insight. And I can help, my own fighters, but with some of those little tricks from the trade, things that I don't see. And it's just been good overall, and I've just really enjoyed the whole process.
Yeah, and you talked to like some of these other active fighters or former ones that were like on the desk doing like analyst work on the broadcast or whatever, and they're just like, it's helped my like fight IQ so much. How has it helped, I guess, your coaching IQ?
It's helped tremendously. Like I said, I'm in the room looking at my guys all the time, looking at our opponents, making adjustments. But now all I'm doing is doing the champs because all I do is the main events. So I'm just studying the very best of the best. Jon and Cyril was the last one I think I did. So it's just given me a really awesome insight on the best of every single division. And, we've got some real contenders in those divisions too. So it's just like I get to watch tape and study all these opponents that some of my own guys have fought. And it's been a very fun process and one that I never really saw myself doing. I'm a coach. I really look at myself as a coach. I've gotten tremendous feedback. It's been very humbling, almost a little embarrassing having all these people reach out to me. People have been messaging me like, you got to do these, man. You should just do breakdowns. Like, that's what you need to do. Like, you're better at this than anything. And I just never thought I was going to do that. So it's been a cool experience, but I'm a coach. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. This is what we do, right? We study tape. That's what we do. And we've got a pretty good idea of how things are going to go. Even sometimes when we're going on a fight and we think, man, this is a 60-40 going the opponent's way, right? This guy's stronger than my guy. This guy's got better grappling and better wrestling and vice versa, whatever. So for me, I've been pretty happy with I try to not make predictions when I do that. I try to show the strengths of both sides of the athletes. Obviously, we fall short sometimes and, maybe show more of one person than the other or not show enough of the wrestling versus the striking. But overall, it's been pretty good, and I really do a deep dive on that prep. 15-page PDF, 60, 70 hours of film study. It's like a real immense study session. It's kind of like being back in college again and getting ready for like final exams. Yeah. And then I don't use any teleprompters or cue cards. It's just studying all the film. I put it all together on a template. I send it to the producers, and then they just put it together. So it's all the stuff that I pick out because I've got to explain it. So I don't have somebody cutting it, or I'm not getting certain stuff. And that way I really know the material because I'm looking at it through a coach's perspective. So it's a little bit different. It's very intensive work, but it's been super rewarding, and we'll see where it goes.
How far back do you go? Like, if you're breaking down Jon Jones, how relevant is his UFC debut or second fight from like 12, 13 years ago in your analysis?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I did Jon's, I put Machida in there. I put a couple of them in there just because I felt like the audience, some of these people had not seen him fight. He hadn't fought for so long. So I really wanted to kind of include some of that, but I really don't. You look at Jan Blachowicz. The guy was 2-4 or something at one point, right? And then he really turned his career around. So people hit a prime and they hit different parts in their career. So I try to kind of look at what's relevant or where I think it, really they've taken that championship turn, probably the last 5 to 7 fights. It's a lot of film though, especially if you have a lot of decisions in there. So it just kind of all depends, but I try to give a good general scope of what they do and what they're probably going to try to do in that matchup.
Yeah, are you hoping, as far as like what could this potentially lead to? Like, is there broadcast aspirations, commentary aspirations in your future, or do you like just kind of fitting into this part of the wheelhouse?
I'm just taking it as it goes. I mean, I did just sign a new contract, with the UFC for 12 more episodes. So I just got done doing that. I think that was last week. So that's great news, and I don't talk about it or really post about it or anything because, like I said, I just don't see myself as an analyst or a commentator. I'm just doing this and just kind of taking it, show by show and just enjoying it. But there's a lot of value for me as a coach in the film work, like I alluded to earlier, and it's making me a better coach. So the sacrifices or the time that it takes away I look at it as a good trade-off. And as long as it continues to be a good trade-off, I'll do it. Being a commentator and being away on the week, 3 or 4 days, being away from the team, I just don't have time for that right now.